Dunfermline 3, Kilmarnock 1 is a latest score. And that's our featured match, with Kilmarnock needing points for survival and Dunfermline hoping to clinch a place in the top 5 of the Premier Division. We'll hear Jock's report after we've seen a taste of the early action.
In by Moore, that was French again. Careless one there by MacPherson. Bingham! Good save by Lekovic. Well, an example there of some very poor defending by Kilmarnock, who was strangely lacklustre right from the start of the match. Now the bedlam you hear behind me reflects Dunfermline going to their supporters. They're 5th top of the Premier Division. It's their best performance in Premier Division history and their best league position since 1968-69. So little wonder these supporters are giving them praise. They won this match deservedly, no question about that. It took them 36 minutes to score the opening goal. Long throw from Mark McCulloch. Desperate defending. Andy Smith lobbed the ball across and Andy Todd headed home a deserved opener. That came after Paul Wright had been carried off. He needed stitches to a cut above the knee after a tackle by Andy Todd, but he should be all right for the cup final. In the second half, 4 minutes gone only when the second came for Dunfermline. This time a delightful cutback by David Bingham, a deadly finish by Andy Smith. It looked easy for Dunfermline. Then a very brave header from Jim McIntyre 2 minutes later after a long high ball from Kevin McGowne. He got to the ball before Westwater to make it 2-1. So then Kilmarnock had a chance to set up a big finish. They tried all they knew towards the end. They threw McGowne to centre forward, and as usual caught out right in the last second when Brian Rice set up Andy Smith to make it 3-1 at the end. A thoroughly deserved win it was for Dunfermline. For Bert Payton, a genuine triumph. He's one of the unsung heroes of the Premier Division this season, and he's greatly appreciated here at East End Park, along with his ebullient assistant Dick Campbell. These two deserve all the plaudits they're taking right now. They've done extremely well over the season, and Dunfermline in any of this match is good wonders, but spare a thought for Kilmarnock. They are still in desperate trouble in the Premier Division, and in this performance they'll find it hard to get out.
In Park today, still needing points to safeguard their Premier place. They were, though, looking to extend an 8-match unbeaten run against a Dunfermline side strongly tipped for relegation before the season began, but now pushing to finish in the top 5. The commentator is Jock Brown.
There are no fewer than 7 changes in that Dunfermline team, which is ravaged by injuries and suspensions, eliminating 8 of the squad, which has done so well this season. Alan Moore and David Bingham have a chance to impress, as has Mark McCulloch in midfield. He'll be joined there in the engine room by 19-year-old local boy John Fraser, who's been knocking on the first team door all season. Even if a full squad had been available, he would have made his debut today. He's a very highly rated young player in these parts. The one big decision for Kilmarnock manager Bobby Williamson was whether to include Alec Burke now that he's recovered from injury. Caution prevails, so he's sharpening up with the reserves. Otherwise, the team is on familiar lines, with David Bagan continuing wide on the right after his appearance for the Scotland under-21s in Sweden. And wearing 11 is 24-year-old former Celtic and Stoke City player Gary Holt, who's preferred again to Colin McKee as Burke's replacement. He made his first appearance of 1997 2 weeks ago against Hibs, and he suddenly now has a chance of a cup final place against Falkirk. And the match referee is the experienced figure of Jim Herold from Newton Mills. If you want to spark a furious reaction from the Dunfermline management team, just suggest to them that Dunfermline have nothing to play for in this match and they won't be fully motivated. Nothing could be further from the truth, because Dunfermline face the prospect of their highest ever Premier Division finish and their highest placing in the last 28 years in the Scottish League. So they are driven here with that ambition, and Kilmarnock of course have the opportunity to ease their relegation worries prior to their cup final appearance in 3 weeks' time. So 2 sides liable to be fired up for the occasion, and that should make for very good entertainment. Great chance early on for Alan Moore. I wonder if he regrets trying to hit that so hard. Very simply created a long throw. Indecision there in the Kilmarnock defence. It was a very good chance in the volley for Moore. This is French, played much of the season in midfield. Good understanding shown there with Moore, who was held. Clear foul there by Dylan Kerr, and the referee gives the free kick, having words also with Kerr. Number 3 there, chasing 7, who's quicker. Jersey Poole resulting in the free kick. Kerr acknowledged that foul instantly. In hope of avoiding any further sanctions, I think. Then Beeman's free kick. Fine effort by French. He's enjoying himself all right this afternoon. Whipped in free kick there by Den Beeman, met at the near post by French. Headed on by McIntyre. He gets up so well for these balls. He really is a handful for central defenders now. By Moore, that was French again. Careless one there by MacPherson. Bingham! Good save by Lekovic. An inquest going on in the Kilmarnock defence. It was Gus MacPherson who created all the problems with this loose clearance. It was an easy one, surely, to play his safety. I don't know what he was thinking about there. And Bingham didn't make good contact. The manager clearly agitated, looking for a big performance here. Now Smith, then Beeman. Was there a push in the box by McGowne and French? Kilmarnock supporters thought so. French certainly went spinning there. Well, the ball was coming across, but it's still Dunfermline in possession, and Alan Moore is off the field on the far side. Well, when that ball came across the face of goal, you'll see here, as then Beeman whips the ball in, suddenly French went down. Very awkward there for Fraser. Tough tackle by Todd on Wright. The ball was certainly bouncing, but Todd went in high. Paul Wright's in some distress here. This is a major worry. Look at the damage there. A cut at the top of the knee. The studs clearly caught him there. Well, it was John Fraser initially who was in some difficulty with the bouncing ball. Paul Wright trying to take advantage there. The ball is bouncing as Andy Todd comes in high and recklessly. It wasn't a pleasant tackle by any means. He's clearly in a lot of distress, Paul Wright, and I wonder if this in any way could be ominous with the cup final in mind. Not a bad replacement though, Scotland B international, Tom Brown. Not a happy man, I suspect, Bobby Williamson, on the evidence of the opening half hour's play. And having lost Paul Wright too, that's a major worry. Bingham. Smith is through the middle. French trying to join him. Long throw from McCulloch here. Todd has gone forward to the edge of the area. Target though is Smith. Cross it goes to Todd. 1-0 to Dunfermline. Well, they cannot begrudge that goal on the balance of play in the opening 36 minutes. And Andy Todd's arrival not picked up. He went forward for this long throw. Bad defending there by Kilmarnock. Good ball across by Smith. Todd was unmarked and Lekovic was helpless. Well, that's a good, simple goal this, but very loose defending by Kilmarnock. That's a fine ball across from Andy Smith. And Todd, who was simply not picked up when he advanced on the back. Goal number 4 of the season for Andy Todd. Kerr playing it long, and Bingham is the player back. Westwater did well. Put on the pressure initially by the header from David Bingham, which wasn't very accurate. Skidding away from the keeper. Bagan coming in there could have caused a problem for the keeper. He hadn't been alert and quick in the recovery. Well, half-time it is. Dunfermline leading by a goal to nil, and there can be no argument that that's justified on the balance of play in the first half. Andy Todd, having been involved in the incident which saw the end of Paul Wright's contribution to the play, headed the only goal in 36 minutes after a good play by Andy Smith inside the box. But Kilmarnock really have not performed yet in this match, and that's a major surprise with their Premier Division status at stake. At half-time, it's Dunfermline 1, Kilmarnock 0. If you're wondering why the home team Dunfermline has changed from their normal black and white stripes, the answer is that they wanted to play in their normal strip, but the referee would not allow Kilmarnock to wear their stripes against the Dunfermline stripes. The result was that Kilmarnock, having no change of strip with them, had to allow Dunfermline to make the change. So dictated there by the referee. So Kilmarnock coming into this match after 8 games without defeat and showing none of the form to justify that. In trouble again as John Fraser goes through, trying to cap his debut with a goal. Good play again from Dunfermline, who always looked the hungrier side right from the start of the match. That pass played in by Alan Moore. Good running by Fraser from midfield. Didn't quite catch that properly. This must have been one of the poorest performances in the first half that Bobby Williamson watched from his side in recent weeks. Good header there by Todd. Strong going for the ball. But Kilmarnock really do appear to need some inspiration from some area of the team. Tom Brown, willing as ever, plenty of movement of him up front. It's towards Holt, a very ambitious, difficult pass. He's done well, Holt. The save by Westwater from McIntyre. Carelessness in defence by Dunfermline, almost punished. Tom Brown played this pass over the top of Andy Todd. Now it really shouldn't have been troublesome, but the inexperience of young Fraser almost cost Dunfermline dearly here because Holt did well to win that. Good first time shot, well parried. McIntyre's first real glimpse of goal in the match. He certainly took the chance precisely enough. Headed away by McGowne. Then Beeman going across behind Welsh. Here's Bingham, he's onside. Here's French waiting in the centre. Back it comes to Smith. Beautifully finished. A delightful goal from Andy Smith. Dunfermline go 2 ahead. And Kilmarnock once again split wide open in defence by one ball over the top. Bingham checked through the linesman. Saw that he was onside. A great pullback. But what a very calm finish. The back 4 caught completely square there, allowing Bingham to break in behind them. The pull back with French taking the attention of the defenders, left Smith with that shooting chance. Holt's pass reaches MacPherson, he has Bagan ahead. Brown makes a run, McIntyre's in the far post area. Person appears to run out of ideas rather. Forced an error from Westwater though. Here's Bagan. Back it comes to Reilly. Interception made by Sharp. That's good play by McGowne. Westwater coming for this. McIntyre wins it! Come on, I go back in the match. Jim McIntyre scores and then takes the thump from goalkeeper Westwater. He mistimed that, the keeper. Very dangerous ball in, played by Kevin McGowne. The keeper came just a fraction late. McIntyre was tall and brave into the touch. This speaks volumes for Jim McIntyre's courage. This headed goal, the flighted ball from McGowne. He was closely marked there by Todd, but getting in front of both Todd and Westwater. Still taking time for the cover. McIntyre get that needle touch on. That's McKee looking for Holt. Then Beeman's in trouble. Holt again. Now McIntyre. Brown! Good snapshot on the tongue. Well, it was even then Beeman who into the real Fankel here against Gary Holt, who was strong enough to stand up to the defender. Wait for the break of the ball. This was awkward. McIntyre using his aerial power here, chesting that down for Brown to shoot off. Kilmarnock in a huge hurry here to get the ball forward. Time rapidly running out for them. Premier League survival still very much in the balance. Away by Welsh. Kerr, the covering player. There's French! Good attack again from Dunfermline. It'll be launched in now by Kerr. McGowne is waiting for it in the box with McIntyre. It's won by Todd. Calmly away by McCullough. A cup-tie finish this. Moores at the better of MacPherson. There's Bingham available inside. Still Moore to Bingham. That would have settled it. Oh, it's good play here. Alan Moore doing a splendid job up front, virtually on his own at this stage, but he had options now inside. One of them was Bingham. The shot was away from Lekovic. It's very close indeed. The last big effort perhaps played right into the danger area. Todd doing well once more in the air. French back defending. Here's Bingham now. Can he take this for a run? That's good play. Much better play this time by Bingham. Brian Rice on the outside. This could tie it up for Dunfermline. They can make this count. It's a good ball in, and Fraser with a chance. That's Smith. 3-1 to Dunfermline. All the arguments are over now. Great break set up by Bingham, then Brian Rice fired the ball across. Fraser had a chance, so too did Andy Smith. Slack defending, and the Dunfermline have ended their season at Holt at East End Park with a real flourish for their supporters. Another important victory as they try to claim 5th place in the Premier Division. Well, Kilmarnock went for broke there, sending everyone forward in the last few minutes of the game to try to save this. They paid the ultimate penalty. It's the end of the game. A disastrous result really for Kilmarnock, who did not perform at all on the day. They did get a little bit of life provided by Jim McIntyre's headed goal at 51 minutes. That came 2 minutes after Andy Smith had made it 2-0 to Dunfermline. He was the maker of the opening goal, the scorer of the second, and then in the last seconds the scorer of the third. So a triumph in the end for Smith and for Dunfermline, but for Kilmarnock the knife edge remains in their fight to stay in the Premier Division. It's Dunfermline 3, Kilmarnock 1. I can remember standing here a year ago when you were just promoted to the Premier Division. Would you have imagined you could be lying 5th at this stage?
No, we didn't drop, in all fairness. We always thought, it was always going to be to survive in the Premier League. As the season has went on, I think we're there on merits, to be honest. But no, we never imagined we'd be sitting in this position.
This is as flat a performance as I've seen from your team for some time.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, Joe. We seem to play better when the games are coming thick and fast. And every time we've had a break through a Scotland international or one thing or another, we come back and we're a bit lacklustre. I felt the last half hour we get right back into the game, and maybe if we'd have got a break in the 18-yard box, we might have got a goal, but it wasn't to be, and Dunfermline came through and got the winner and must kick the ball.
I take it you feel you need something by way of points in the next couple of games?
I would think so. We've just got to try our best in each every game, as I've said before. We've got nothing today, but we've got to keep our heads up and go on with it and try and make up to supporters on Wednesday against Celtic.
That was a result that takes Dunfermline closer to a top 5 finish. Not bad for a team tipped pre-season for relegation. And defeat for Kilmarnock leaves the cup finalists still sweating over their Premier future. Hibs aren't safe yet either. Motherwell will remain favourites for the playoff. John, Kilmarnock should have been fired up for this one. They badly need the points, but it didn't look like it.
I think that's one thing that's impressed everybody about Kilmarnock, is that even going for with the cup run, they've managed to keep their league form really good. But today they just looked a little flat, and maybe they're coming off the great result in the cup. It was just a wee bit of disappointment for them today. But I thought Dunfermline had a great season, consolidation first season back in the Premier, and they've surprised a lot of people, but fully deserve to be where they are.
Maybe the most worrying thing for Kilmarnock was the injury to Paul Wright. Let's have another look at how that one came around.
Yeah, their top scorer. I think Andy Todd goes in. I don't think there's anything malicious in it, but it is a little bit nasty, a little bit of a straight leg. can just see it coming in here. Just catches Paul above the knee, and it will be a worry for him because he's an important player for them. He's scored important goals this season, and but I think it's far enough above the knee that it's not in the crease, so I would expect him to be okay for the cup final.
That was a wee bit medical, wasn't it?
Yeah, for me.
13 stitches, the final's 3 weeks away. It would be nice to think that Paul Wright plays because he could light up the occasion. He's got ability.
Yeah, he could. He's got great shooting power, and his goals are really important to Kilmarnock. But I think they'll need every player playing in the day, and I think Paul Wright's definitely one of the most important players that they'll be. But I think they'll need him, or they'll miss him in the next 2 games as well, because they've got to ensure a Premier League survival.
Let's have a look at arguably the key moment of the match. A chance for Kilmarnock at one end, and then Dunfermline scoring at the other.
Yeah, this was every defender's done this, got caught like that in the byline, but it's a great save from Ian Westwater. And then the ball, just over a minute later, Dunfermline went down in 2-0. That was the game really over. Kilmarnock lost their top scorer. It's a little bit disheartening when you see somebody, one of your teammates, being stretchered off at the best of times. So for them to then go 2 down, it's very, very difficult for them to come back.
You touched on this already, but it really would be an amazing achievement if Dunfermline were to finish above teams like Aberdeen and Hibs, teams with much more in the way of resources.
Yeah, it's credit to Dick Campbell and Bert Payton because they've done a great job, and Dunfermline look full of running today, full of enthusiasm, and even though they won the last couple of games and they don't really appear to have a great deal to chase in Europe, they had a great appetite for the game.
Meanwhile, at East End Park, things didn't start well for Scottish Cup finals Kilmarnock. Their star striker Paul Wright was carried off after this crunching tackle by Andy Todd. A real nasty one, this. Wright taken to hospital with a gashed knee and may miss the cup final. It was the home side who took the lead in the 36th minute. Bingham's long throw lobbed on by Andy Smith, and Andy Todd turning from villain to hero by heading this one past Lekovic. A great finish by the defender. Just after the interval they went 2 up. Good control down the wing by Bingham here. He finds Andy Smith, and he calmly picks his spot and fires low into the net. Certainly enjoyed scoring that one. Lekovic, however, not quite so happy. However, Killie know that the dreaded playoff place is still a possibility and press forward immediately. A quality cross by youngster David Bagan here, and Jim McIntyre rising well to head past Westwater. McIntyre took a bit of a knock, but he recovered well. Look at it again, precision cross by Bagan. And just look at the height that McIntyre had to jump to get to the ball first. A great goal for Killie this. And that made the score 2-1. But it wasn't to be for Bobby Williamson's team then, for the Pars grabbed a third 4 minutes into injury time. Substitute Brian Rice going in a great run towards goal, the Killie defence in disarray, and Andy Todd nipping in to score his second from close range. Final score, 3-1 Dunfermline.
3-1 Dunfermline. Davey, let's talk about Dundee United first, because they played a couple of youngsters on Saturday. They have this game against Rangers tomorrow night, which is now taking on huge importance. What does Tommy McLean do?
I think that the fact that the championship is still alive, Jim, will mean that Tommy will be forced into going back to what he considers to be his strongest side. I don't think he could possibly play a young team and then be accused of handing Rangers the championship.
Same opinion, Jim?
Yeah, apart from the accusations that would come, I don't think he would want to play these young players against Rangers, because Rangers now, as we've said earlier, will be up for this game, absolutely determined to win it, and I don't think he'd be doing his young players any good to play them tomorrow night.
Yeah, let's have a look at Aberdeen's second goal on Saturday. Billy Dodds, the goal scorer. David, do you see any promise for Aberdeen for next season?
Well, we'll see how good the youngsters are. I mean, everybody's willing to give them a second chance. Roy took a big chance persevering with them. And we'll see whether that gamble has paid off next season. We'll see how good they are.
And Jim, Stuart Milne, of course, has come out publicly and said that Roy will be the man to take them forward. So obviously he's getting a chance, which is what a lot of commentators have been calling for managers to be allowed to give the chance.
Yes, I mean, it's great news for Roy Aitken, even though you get the dreaded vote of confidence. I don't think that's what that is in this case, because he's also said that he can go now and spend some serious money as well. But I mean, I'm surprised that Roy Aitken is not under more pressure there, because that's a dreadful run they've been on. Was it 2 wins in 21 games or something? I think it's a dreadful run. And with Fergus McCann saying Tommy Burns lost 8 league matches in 2 seasons and got the bullet.
David, Kilmarnock have a cup final coming up, possibly without Paul Wright after this injury on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it's all going wrong for Kilmarnock, because not only is Paul Wright looking doubtful now after that challenge, But Alec Burke, who's a key player for them as well, must be doubtful as well. So, you know, a couple of weeks ago things were looking good. It looked as if the Premier Division survival was assured. This challenge here certainly seems to have put Paul Wright in the doubtful category for the cup final. And they're still involved in the relegation issue as well.
Yeah, actually, I think he's going to be a big loss for them, but I think that was an appalling challenge. I think that more should have been done about that. That was a real serious... It looked a bit wild to me, you know, a bit erratic to say the least, and it may well have cost Kilmarnock possibly a cup final if he's not playing.